If Venezuela's aging F-16s ever crossed paths with America's stealth fighters, would it be a fight or just a massacre waiting to happen? They call it the Caribbean's most dangerous standoff in decades. A U.S. Navy strike group sails defiantly in blue waters, launching sorties to demonstrate presence and resolve. On the horizon, Venezuelan jets scramble from coastal air bases, engines howling against the tropical sky. The world watches, asking the question no one ever thought would matter. If the crisis escalated into a dogfight, could Venezuela's aging fighters stand even the slightest chance against the full might of American air power? The spark was real. In September 2025, the United States struck at boats accused of smuggling drugs out of Venezuelan waters. One was destroyed, 3 lives were lost, and suddenly the Caribbean, usually a playground of sun, surf, and shipping lanes, was bristling with tension. Caracas responded by scrambling fighters close to U.S. warships, mobilizing its militia, and calling for vigilance against what it called aggression. It was a reminder that geopolitics doesn't only play out in the Pacific or Eastern Europe. It can erupt just as suddenly in America's own backyard. So let's imagine the unthinkable. Venezuela's Air Force, battered but still defiant, sends its F-16s and Su-30s aloft to confront American jets. On paper, the contest almost looks like a mismatch written in stone. But is there room, even a sliver, for surprises? To answer, we must strip away the myths, compare the machines, and confront the question head-on. 1. Venezuelan jet against 1 American jet. What happens when they meet above the Caribbean Sea? Let's start with Venezuela. Its mainstay is the F-16B Fighting Falcon, acquired back in the 1980s. Once a cutting-edge platform, now these jets are aging veterans, running on decades-old avionics and plagued by maintenance issues after years of sanctions and strained logistics. They are fast, nimble, and respected for their agility, but they lack the modern AWACS radar, advanced data links, and electronic warfare packages that define today's frontline aircraft. Supporting them are Su-30MK2 Flanker H fighters, purchased from Russia in 2006. Sleek, long-range, and powerful, the Su-30 boasts a capable BARS radar, impressive maneuverability, and a weapons loadout that includes the R-77 Beyond Visual Range missile. In theory, this gives Venezuela a punch that cannot be dismissed lightly. Yet, reality bites hard. Without steady access to spare parts, advanced munitions, and constant training, even the most advanced flanker becomes just another airframe struggling to stay airborne. Now contrast that with the United States. The U.S. can bring multiple layers of air power to bear in the Caribbean within days. Modern F-16CD Block 50-50 seconds variants far outclass Venezuela's older A-B models. Add in the F-35 Lightning II, a 5th-generation stealth jet with a radar cross-section smaller than a bird, few sensors, and the ability to share targeting data seamlessly across the battlespace. Then consider the possibility of F-15EXs, or even F-22 Raptors deploying from bases in Florida or Puerto Rico. And of course, the Navy's carriers bring their own wings of F-18s Super Hornets and F-35Cs. Above them all, E-3 AWACS radar planes sweep the skies, KC-135 tankers extend ranges, UE scout from above, and satellites feed real-time data into a command and control network that has been battle-tested across multiple conflicts. In sheer technological density, Venezuela's fleet looks outgunned before it even takes off. But the truth is rarely that simple, and here's where the debate begins. Could Venezuela's Su-30s, with their long-range R-77 missiles, score a hit before being overwhelmed? Could clever tactics, exploiting terrain or weather, allow even one flanker to get close enough to an American F-16 for a gunfight where pilot skill matters more than electronics? These are the tantalizing what-ifs that keep analysts talking. Because while the U.S. is undeniably dominant, history has shown again and again that underdogs sometimes find ways to punch above their weight. Still, the gap in capability is staggering. Consider missiles. The AIM-1 20DM ROM, America's staple beyond visual range missile. can hit targets at up to 180 kilometers with incredible precision. Venezuela's R-77, though dangerous, maxes out closer to 100 kilometers and lacks the same level of proven performance. In a duel, that means use pilots often see first, shoot first, kill first. Layer in AWACS aircraft directing traffic and feeding targeting data to American jets, and the disparity becomes even more brutal. To Venezuela, it would feel like fighting in the dark against an enemy that sees everything. Now imagine the broader scenario. Within 72 hours of a crisis, the U.S. could flood the Caribbean with hundreds of aircraft, supported by destroyers and carriers. Venezuela, meanwhile, might struggle to keep even 40 to 50 fighters operational. And that number doesn't account for attrition, mechanical issues, or the relentless strain of maintaining high readiness. The imbalance in numbers mirrors the imbalance in technology. Against such odds, can any amount of courage or determination change the outcome? And yet, let's not dismiss Venezuela's hand entirely. They could lean on ground-based air defenses like the S-300, Buk M2, and Tor M1, all Russian-made and capable of threatening even advanced aircraft. A wall of SAMs layered with fighters could in theory create a contested zone in the skies above Caracas. Perhaps a single Su-30 could take advantage of that umbrella to strike out, ambush an American patrol, and claim a symbolic kill. The question is not whether it is possible, it's whether such isolated victories could change the strategic reality. Would America, with its overwhelming reserves, even flinch? Or would such a strike simply guarantee a devastating response? This is where we step into controversy. Some critics argue that America's heavy reliance on advanced fighters like the F-35 comes with risks of its own. Yes, it is stealthy, networked, and lethal. But it is also enormously expensive, with unit costs topping $100 million per plane. Imagine for a moment if a single Venezuelan missile managed to shoot one down. The propaganda victory for Caracas would be immeasurable. Would that reveal a crack in the armor of use air power? Or would it be written off as an anomaly in a sky otherwise dominated by America's technological supremacy? Here's where debates become heated, because prestige in air combat is about more than numbers. It's about symbols, perceptions, and the stories nations tell themselves. Let's return to the dogfight. At long range, Venezuela's chances are slim. The U.S. will likely detect and engage before Venezuelan jets even know they are being tracked. But what if, through some stroke of tactical cunning, a Venezuelan Su-30 slips past the radar net? At close quarters, the flanker is still a dangerous opponent. With its thrust vectoring engines, it can pull maneuvers few jets can match. Against an F-16, in a turning fight, a skilled pilot might even claim the advantage. But here's the catch: getting to that range requires surviving the missile gauntlet, the AWACS overwatch, and the electronic warfare blanket America brings to every fight. The odds are stacked not just against Venezuela, but against the very possibility of reaching that knife fight in the first place. So where does that leave us? On the one hand, the United States holds overwhelming superiority, better planes, better missiles, better networks, more experience. On the other, Venezuela holds the advantage of home turf, the spirit of defending its skies, and perhaps the shadow of outside support, whispers of Chinese intelligence or drone technology flowing quietly into Caracas. These are the uncertainties that keep scenarios alive. Could outside assistance tip the balance, even slightly? Could asymmetric tactics, cheap drones, electronic jamming, or sheer numbers force America to adapt in ways it has not yet anticipated? And here lies the ultimate irony. A battle between Venezuela's F-16s and America's air fleet would not just be about jets. It would be about what those jets represent. The difference between an underdog clinging to sovereignty and a superpower projecting dominance. It will be about whether old platforms like the Su-30 can still carve out space in a sky dominated by stealth and precision. And it would be about how much risk America is willing to take to protect its image of invulnerability. At the end of the day, the answer seems clear. The U.S. retains control of the Caribbean skies. Its carriers, fighters, and networks create an umbrella of dominance that Venezuela cannot hope to pierce in sustained conflict. Yet the mere possibility of a symbolic strike, a lone Su-30 sneaking close enough to challenge an American F-16, adds just enough doubt to keep the story alive. That sliver of uncertainty, the what if, is what makes military power so fascinating and so dangerous. So I'll leave you with this. If you were a Venezuelan pilot, would you risk it all in a desperate attempt to score a single symbolic victory? And if you were an American commander, would you send your $100 million F-35s into contested skies without hesitation? Somewhere between pride, deterrence, and the fog of war, the answer isn't simple. But one truth remains: when it comes to air power in the Caribbean, the United States still writes the rules of the game.